Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and I made a mistake with my new Land Cruiser. I'm making this video so that those of you that are buying a new Land Cruiser won't make the same mistake that I just did. Before we get into this video though, as always, link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Well, the side angle, you guys will be able to tell exactly what happened. I put a set of aftermarket tires and wheels on my Land Cruiser, and well, let me explain. So this is actually my friend's wheel company. I do got to give him a shout out because they're really cool. 9-3 wheels. I'll include a link to his website in the description of this video. But what he does is basically custom offset, all that kind of stuff. So I did a plus 25 offset, and that's not the problem. The problem is the tires attached to the wheels. So I did 285 by 70 by 17, and yes, you can fit 17-inch wheels on the new Land Cruiser. So if you are looking to downsize from the stock 18s, you are able to do that. And what I've discovered with these tires is they're just a little bit too beefy for the Land Cruiser. Now when it comes to looks, they actually look really cool. So let me try to get over here so my shadow's kind of out of the way. You can see it's not quite, I mean, maybe that angle will show it better. It's not quite flush, it just pokes out a little bit. So it gives the Land Cruiser kind of like a beefier look. So if you're looking for like a beefy look, well, this definitely provides that. And before I get into the issue with these tires, I quickly want to show you guys that they don't rub. So that is not actually the issue. So I've got it locked out here. You can see it doesn't touch on that side. So it fits fine in that direction. And then here on the other side, you can see it's very, very close. So I didn't have to remove any of the mud flaps. I didn't have to remove anything for these tires, for those of you that are wondering. Now taking this off-road, might want to remove those if you're doing some hardcore off-roading, because it's probably going to bump into them under articulated sections, but that's good. Now here's the first issue, 18 miles per gallon. Now this isn't actually horrible, but I was getting over 20 miles per gallon with the stock tire and wheel setup, and I had a Tacoma Trail Hunter for a week that has a true 33, so 265 by 70 by 18, and with that I was getting better than this even. So yeah, the fuel economy drops quite a bit, and that's kind of expected with these 4-cylinder turbos, that you always just lose quite a bit of fuel economy. So again, to give you guys a reference point, the Grenadier lost like 1 mile per gallon going from so the stock tires in this 265 by 70 by 17, same thing with the Grenadier, and the Grenadier has 285 by 70 by 17, so same tire and wheel setup as this. I lost 1 mile per gallon, whereas this I lost like 4, so big difference. Now the next big problem is the drivability. Now I've changed tires on vehicles quite a bit over the years, and you know, sometimes yeah, bigger tires do definitely affect drivability, and this isn't the worst that I've ever experienced, but it is noticeable. So what I basically feel like is I have to go, before I was able to, you know, teeter up to like 2,000 RPMs to get up and moving. Now I have to get up closer to like 3,000. So it's definitely putting a lot more pressure on everything when it comes to acceleration. I mean, to give you an idea of the acceleration difference, it almost feels like it doesn't have the hybrid anymore. Like that's, if you go and drive a Tacoma with the non-hybrid and then drive one with the hybrid, that's what the difference feels like with this when you go from the stock tires to these ones. And something to note, when you actually look at tire sizes, 285 by 70 by 17, that's a 32.7 inch tall tire. 265 by 70 by 18 is a 32.6 inch tall tire. So they're actually not that different when it comes to sizing. It's just the width, right? You got an extra 20 millimeters on these, and it seems like it's just made a really big difference, and again, way bigger than what I experienced on the Grenadier. So yeah, I just noticed that it feels a lot more sluggish, way more than expected, considering I didn't go like that big with the tires, and then it also just doesn't handle as well. And so it seems like this tire setup is kind of just a downside overall, and it makes me wonder, like, I've seen those videos with people putting 35s on the new Land Cruiser, and like they have to drive horrible. I mean, I haven't reviewed one yet, so I can't say for certain, but experiencing this, I just can't imagine 35s on this would drive well, and the fuel economy's got to be like 10 miles per gallon. maybe a little bit better, maybe 12 miles per gallon. But then at that point, it's like, what's the point, right? Because, you know, I had a Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 392 V8 35s, and that got 15-16 miles per gallon. So I don't know, I guess from my perspective, it's like, if I'm gonna go 4-cylinder, I want to get better fuel economy. So I ordered 255 by 80 by 17. So it's actually technically a bigger tire. It's a 33.1, but a lot narrower. So that should change things quite a bit. And I'm just doing this just to kind of see how this does on some gravel. Yeah, see, the suspension just doesn't feel, it's weird. I don't know what it is, but the Land Cruiser drove so much better off-road with the narrower tires. And I noticed a lot of people with 100 series will do either the ones that I have ordered, 255 by 80 by 17, or they'll do 255 by 75 by 17. And so it seems like the narrower tires are just kind of a popular thing on, or to do with Land Cruisers. But yeah, this is so strange to me. And I am in four-wheel drive high, by the way. I should actually probably, I don't even know if I can do this in the hill. Oh wow, that was easy. Yeah, see, I remember when I had the stock tires, it was not revving up to over 3,000 RPMs. It's so weird. That's such a weird thing for me to see. Now, this isn't going to be horribly difficult for the new Land Cruiser. I did this with that first edition that I had for the week on the stock tires that were basically bald. But I am kind of listening to see if it... And that was a decent articulated section, and it doesn't seem to clip at all. So again, these these will work fine. I think the big downside just comes in if you're gonna daily drive it, right? If you just have a 250 for off-roading, then yeah, you can do the wider tires, no problem. Not gonna be an issue whatsoever. But you know, like me that daily drives and drives probably, gosh, it depends on the week. Some weeks it's like 1,000 miles in a week. The economy is a big difference. I just want to do a steep climb just to give you guys an idea. It really isn't bad. Like I said, this is the biggest you can pretty much go without. Like if you had the stock wheels and you did this setup, so 285 by 70 by 18, you definitely rub. Like I got out a couple times earlier, and it was definitely close. But I will say the new Land Cruisers, it's a mountain goat. It's really cool just how smooth this is. You gotta remember, I'm in four-wheel drive low, but I'm completely unlocked. I don't have my center diff or rear diff locked. And the traction control light is not flashed like at all from what I've seen on this. Yeah, so not bad. I mean, we'll go up this little steep one. Yeah, you can see the traction control light, not even. Shows you how good the grip is. The weight balance with this new Land Cruiser is actually really good. So yeah, that's gonna sum things up with this video. Hopefully this update helped you guys out, and I will have another update once I get the new tires put on to let you guys know what I think of the 255 by 80 by 17. And I do think that is probably going to end up being the sweet spot for this, just because of the weight of the vehicle. And I think that's probably why the driving dynamics on road are so bad, because if you think, like, we have a 200 series and the Grenadier, they're both pretty darn front heavy. Like 200 series literally has a V8, and so you put heavier tires on that, not really going to affect driving dynamics. This, I mean, it's got a hybrid system and everything, but like you can tell the weight distribution's pretty equal with this. It's not perfect. It is a front engine vehicle, so it is front heavy, but still, you can definitely tell that it's a little bit more evenly distributed, and it's just a light feeling vehicle. I mean, here, this will sum it up. Let me look at the weight. Okay, so 6,800, 1,100. Really? This doesn't feel that heavy. This is 5,700 pounds. It's got to be the weight distribution. I'm willing to bet. I don't bet ever, but I'm willing to bet that if you looked at the weight distribution of this in the 200 series, this is going to have, because the battery in the back, this is going to have more of an 50-50. It's not a true 50-50, but it's going to be more equal front to rear than the 200. So it's probably where the issues are coming with the driving dynamics. But again, it's not like a deal breaker. It's not the worst thing. I think some of you will be okay with this. But if you're going to be doing what I'm doing, where you're off-roading occasionally and you're mostly daily driving the Land Cruiser, I think that this setup is probably not the route to go. It's just a little bit too wide. So I'll let you guys know once I get those new tires put on just how that feels. But this, as it sits, I mean, it's obviously amazing off-road. It's just, man, it just doesn't feel that, it doesn't have the same nimble feel that it felt with the stock tires, which is so weird.